They say an arrest warrant has been issued for me by Interpol. Let them issue their papers. Let them write their reports in offices far away from the dust and blood of Burkina Faso. But I want our people and the world to understand what this really means. When a man stands up and refuses to bow to foreign masters, he becomes their enemy. When a leader chooses the dignity of his people over the comfort of international approval, they call him a threat. I have chosen to put my people first, their safety, their freedom, and their right to decide their own destiny. For that, I am not surprised that the international powers now label me as a criminal. But ask yourselves, who are the real criminals? Are they the ones who have looted Africa for decades? Who armed the very terrorists they now claim to fight? Are they the ones who turned our continent to a marketplace for their weapons, a dumping ground for their ideologies, and a battlefield for their proxy wars? They wear suits, sit in air-conditioned offices, and speak of law and order. Yet their hands are soaked in the blood of millions. I have broken no laws of my land. I have only broken the chains they placed around us. They hoped that with an arrest warrant, I would tremble, that the people of Burkina Faso would lose faith. But look around. The opposite has happened. The streets speak, the people have risen, not in fear but in strength. This attempt to silence me has only amplified our voice. They forgot something important. I did not rise to power through their approval. I rose through the will of a people tired of begging for help while being stripped of their dignity. The only warrant I recognize is the mandate given to me by my fellow Burkinabe, to defend our land, to expel the forces that destabilize us, and to reclaim our future. So let them send their warnings. Let them flash their badges. We will not kneel. We will not surrender. Every action they take against us only proves how powerful we have become without them. We are no longer a colony. We are no longer a playground for imperial games. This land belongs to its people, and I, Ibrahim Traoré, will never betray them. They say that an arrest warrant has been issued for me by Interpol, an international institution supposedly neutral now being used as a weapon in the hands of those who cannot stand to see Africa rise. I reject this warrant, not because I fear it, but because I recognize it for what it truly is, a tool of intimidation, a symbol of the foreign interference that has haunted this continent for decades. It is not justice they seek. It is control. We must be clear. This warrant is not about law, nor is it about the pursuit of peace or order. It is political. It is strategic. It is a desperate attempt to undermine a movement that has taken root, not just in Burkina Faso, but across the entire Sahel and beyond. A movement that says no more submission, no more puppetry, no more exploitation disguised as cooperation. This arrest warrant is the reaction of a system that feels threatened because it can no longer dictate the terms of our existence. They call it law enforcement. I call it neo-colonial enforcement. Because if Interpol were truly neutral, if it truly stood for justice, then its efforts would be aimed at those who destabilize nations, loot resources, finance terrorism and impose illegitimate sanctions on sovereign countries. But no, those who commit these crimes wear suits, sit in comfortable offices in distant capitals, and pose as saviors while feeding off the misery of others. These people are never pursued, they are protected. But when a son of Africa rises to say that our people deserve to stand on their own feet, that we will no longer be dictated to by foreign embassies or multinational corporations, then suddenly, there's danger. Suddenly, there's outrage. Suddenly, there's an arrest warrant. What they fear is not Ibrahim Traoré the man. What they fear is what I represent. A break from dependence. A refusal to bow, a defiance of the old order. When I speak, I do not speak for myself. I speak for the farmers who have watched their land degraded by foreign mining companies. I speak for the mothers who have lost their sons to wars that were never ours to begin with. I speak for the youth who have been told they must flee their homeland to seek dignity abroad. I speak for a people who are tired of being told what to think, how to act, who to align with, and what is acceptable. They thought they could use fear to keep us in line, that through institutions like Interpol, they could maintain the illusion of authority. But I tell them today, your time has passed. Your tactics are outdated. You can no longer rule us from afar with threats and blacklists. Our rejection of foreign interference is not born of hatred. It is born of historical truth. We have seen what this interference has brought. Coups orchestrated from abroad, puppet leaders installed and maintained, natural resources extracted without benefit to the people, and culture suppressed in the name of modernization. We have had enough. If the cost of independence is an arrest warrant, then let it be known that I will wear it as a badge of honor. Because I know who I serve. I serve no foreign master. I serve no hidden interest. I serve the people of Burkina Faso, and no amount of pressure will make me betray that duty. What these powers do not understand is that the more they attack us, the stronger we become. When they isolate us, we unite. When they threaten us, we build resilience. This arrest warrant has not weakened our resolve. It has exposed their fear. And so I say this, not just to those who sit in Paris, Washington, or Brussels, but to every African leader, every youth, every citizen. We must reclaim our sovereignty with courage and clarity. We must see through the lies dressed as diplomacy and the chains disguised as partnership. We must remember that our right to self-determination is not up for negotiation. I reject foreign interference in all its forms, whether it comes through armed drones or IMF conditions, through intelligence operatives or arrest warrants. We are not criminals, we are defenders of our nations, and history will judge us not by the accusations of the powerful, but by the freedom we fought to preserve. Let them come, let them issue their statements. Let them summon their press conferences. We are not moved. Our ground is firm. Our direction is clear. Our struggle is just. And our time is now. They speak of legality, of international norms, of institutions that supposedly uphold order and justice. But I ask, whose order and justice for whom? They accuse me of violating laws, yet I have only stood to defend the most sacred law of all, the sovereignty of our nation. The right of Burkina Faso to determine its own destiny, without interference, coercion or manipulation from outside forces. My actions are not crime. They are acts of duty, rooted in the deepest responsibility a leader can hold, to protect the land, the people and the future of his nation. Burkina Faso does not exist as a subject under foreign rule. We are not a province of any empire. We are not a client state, to be managed through embassies and NGOs. We are a sovereign people, with our own voice, our own values and our own vision for the future. This sovereignty is not a concept to me. It is a daily reality that we fight to preserve in our fields, in our schools, in our institutions, and on our front lines. Every decision I have taken, every measure I have implemented, has been to assert and protect this right, not for personal gain, but because I carry the mandate of a people who have been ignored, exploited, and betrayed for far too long. When foreign governments lecture us about democracy and legality, I ask them to look in the mirror. What democracy do they speak of when they support regimes that serve their interests, but ignore the cries of their own citizens? What legality do they claim to uphold when their intelligence services plot coups, arm insurgents and sabotage our economies in the shadows? These are not defenders of law. They are architects of disorder, cloaked in diplomacy. We in Burkina Faso are charting a new path, one built not on dependency but on dignity. We are not against the world. We are not against cooperation, but we are against domination. We are against decisions made thousands of kilometers away that affect our children, our resources, and our future without our consent. And if defending our sovereignty means standing alone, then so be it. It is better to walk alone with our heads held high than to march in chains beneath false alliances. My commitment has always been to the people of Burkina Faso. They did not ask for foreign bases. They did not ask for policies written by outsiders. They asked for security, for justice, for food, for opportunity, and above all for respect. And that is what I aim to give them. Sovereignty is not just about flags and borders. It is about being the true decision makers in our own affairs, unshackled from those who treat Africa as a laboratory or battleground. Some say I am too bold, too uncompromising. But tell me, what is compromise when your land is being taken, your youth are dying in wars they did not start, and your leaders are being chosen for you? What is compromise when your economy is designed to benefit foreign corporations, while your own citizens struggle to survive? That is not compromise. That is surrender. And I was not put here to surrender. I did not take this responsibility to please the powerful. I took it because the Burkinabe people were tired. Tired of empty promises. Tired of watching our country be humiliated. Tired of leadership that answers first to foreign embassies, before listening to the people. And I say today, clearly and without apology, Burkina Faso is not for sale. Our policies will not be dictated by those who do not live with the consequences of their decision. We will write our own script, build our own systems, and fight our own battles, not as puppets but as proud and free people. Let those who issue threats understand this clearly. We will not trade our sovereignty for aid. We will not exchange our dignity for recognition. And we will not be silenced by arrest warrants or sanctions. These tactics belong to the past. to an era when African nations were treated as subjects to be controlled. That time is over. A new generation has risen. One that understands that freedom is not given, it is taken. It is earned through courage, unity, and sacrifice. To the people of Burkina Faso, I say this: your sovereignty is my shield. Your will is my guide. Everything I do is in your name, for your future. And though the road may be difficult, though the enemies may be many, we will not waver. We are standing up not just for ourselves, but for all those who have been told to stay silent, to stay small, to stay dependent. We reject that narrative. We embrace our identity. And we will protect our sovereignty, not with words alone, but with action, with resolve, and if necessary, with our lives. Because a people without sovereignty are a people without a soul. And I promise you, as long as I breathe, the soul of Burkina Faso will never be surrendered. They accuse me of being a criminal. They speak of justice, of law, of peace. But I look at their actions and I see hypocrisy so deep, so old and so brutal that it has become the foundation of their global power. When the West points its finger at Africa, it does so with blood on its hands. And when they speak of democracy and human rights, they speak only when it serves their interests. I will not be lectured by those who have built their empires on the backs of our suffering. For decades, Africa has been treated as a playground for Western interests. Our resources have been stolen, our people manipulated, our governments destabilized. When a leader bows, he is praised. When he stands, he is punished. That is the only rule they follow. They call it diplomacy. I call it domination. They call it partnership. I call it plunder. Let us speak honestly. Who armed the militias that now terrorize the Sahel? Who supported regimes that looted their own people while serving foreign masters? Who sent in aid with one hand and stole with the other? These are not mistakes. These are strategies. These are deliberate acts, designed to keep Africa weak, divided and dependent. Yet they have the audacity to accuse us of undermining peace. They speak of freedom, but what they really want is obedience. They fear any African leader who thinks for himself. They fear any government that chooses to prioritize its people over foreign contracts. And when a leader breaks from their control, they use every tool, media, sanctions, institutions, and yes, even arrest warrants, to discredit and destroy him. That is not justice. That is hypocrisy. Where was Interpol when entire nations were destroyed under false pretenses? Where were the arrest warrants when bombs fell on cities, when puppet governments were installed, when economies were crippled by structural adjustment programs that benefited no one but Western corporations? They were silent. Because the law in their world is not about justice, it is about power. They call our resistance dangerous. But the real danger is the system they defend. A system where African soldiers die protecting foreign interests, where African minerals are exported while our own people live without electricity, where African decisions are made in foreign capitals. That is the world they want us to accept, and I refuse. I will not accept lectures from those who destabilize Libya and unleash chaos across our region. I will not accept criticism from those who gave weapons to rebels and then blamed African leaders for the consequences. I will not accept moral judgment from those who invited themselves into our lands, drew borders, divided tribes and called it civilization. And I am not alone. The people are awakening. The youth are not blind. We see through the carefully chosen words of foreign diplomats. We see through the editorials written in distant newspapers. We know that behind the words stability and partnership often lies exploitation and control. And we are saying enough. Burkina Faso has chosen to stand, not against the world, but against a system that has treated us as tools, never equals. If they want respect, they must first show it. If they want peace, they must stop fueling conflict for profit. If they want cooperation, it must be on the basis of mutual interest, not obedience and submission. They ask why we seek new partners, why we turn to those who treat us with respect, even if they do not come from the old colonial centers. The answer is simple. We will not beg from those who helped break us. We will not ask for permission to be free. And make no mistake, this is not just about Burkina Faso. It is about every nation that has been bullied, lied to, and drained of its potential. It is about the silent majority of the global South that has long endured under the weight of Western hypocrisy. Today, that silence is breaking, and we are raising our voices. The so-called international community must look in the mirror, because until it reckons with its own crimes, colonialism, slavery, coups, wars for resources, it has no moral ground to judge us. We are not perfect. We have our challenges, but we will confront them ourselves, with our own hands, in our own way. We do not need the approval of those who never respected us. To the people of Burkina Faso, I say this: do not be intimidated. Do not be confused. When they attack us, it is not because we have failed, it is because we are rising. It is because we dare to think independently, to act courageously, and to reclaim what has always been ours: our freedom, our land, our future. And to those in the West who still believe in justice, who see the truth and dare to speak it, I welcome you. But to those who continue to defend the dying empire, know this: your hypocrisy no longer hides you, your lies no longer protect you. Africa is awake and we will never go back to sleep. They think they can shake us with threats. They think an arrest warrant will bring fear to our hearts, or confusion to our people. But they do not understand us. They do not understand Burkina Faso. And they do not understand what it means to fight for something greater than yourself. Let them issue their warrants. Let them spread their propaganda. Let them hold their meetings behind closed doors. I remain unshaken, and so does my nation. This is not the first time they have tried to silence African voices. It is not the first time they have targeted those who refuse to bow. History is filled with examples of leaders, revolutionaries and patriots, who were labeled criminals by the very forces who oppressed their people. So when they put my name on a list, they are only continuing that same tradition of intimidation. But I tell them now, I am not afraid, because I am not alone. I walk with the people of Burkina Faso. It is their voice that lifted me. It is their pain that drives me. It is their hope that gives me strength. And now, faced with these foreign threats, I see something beautiful happening across our country. The people are not retreating, they are rising. The youth are not backing down, they are standing up. Our mothers, our elders, our soldiers, our farmers. They see clearly what this is. They know it is not about justice, it is about punishing us for daring to say no. But we will not apologize for defending ourselves. We did not choose this confrontation. We did not seek enemies. All we ever asked for was respect, and the right to determine our own path. But when we rejected the control of foreign interests, when we said we would no longer be the servants of others on our own land, the threats began. They told us we would be isolated. They said the world would turn its back on us. They tried to paint us as extremists, as radicals, as enemies of peace. But let me ask them, what peace are you defending when your presence only brings more war? What kind of justice is it that protects those who profit from our suffering, while targeting those who resist it? This arrest warrant, this so-called warning from the so-called international community, has only confirmed what we already knew, that our independence is not in their interest. But our resolve is greater than any piece of paper. Our unity is stronger than any alliance they can form against us. And our courage is deeper than their fear of a truly sovereign Africa. I see the people, I walk among them, I listen to their voices, and what I hear is not fear, it is determination. I hear mothers saying, we will not give our children to foreign wars. I hear young men and women saying, we will build our future here, not flee to foreign shores. I hear elders saying, we have waited long enough, now is our time. That is why we are unshaken. Because this struggle is not about one man or one government, it is about a people who are no longer willing to be ruled from the shadows. They misunderstand something fundamental. Threats only work when you have something to lose. But what we had, our dignity, our sovereignty, our future, they already tried to take from us. Now we are fighting to take it back. So what more can they take from us? Our fear, we have already buried it. Our silence, we have already broken it. Our submission, that chapter is closed. This moment has revealed who truly stands with us. And it has revealed who only smiled at us, while waiting to stab us in the back. But that clarity is a gift. It allows us to move forward without illusion. It allows us to see who believes in partnership, and who believes in control. To the international forces who think we will collapse under pressure, you are wrong. Every attempt to weaken us only strengthens our cause. Every time you threaten us, you unify our people. Every step you take to isolate us, pushes us closer to true independence. The fire you thought would consume us, has instead forged us. We are no longer afraid of being alone, because we have found strength in ourselves. And to the people of Burkina Faso, I say this: continue to stand proud, continue to defend our land with honor, continue to speak with one voice. This struggle is ours, and no one will fight it for us. Let the world watch and see what unity looks like. Let them see what happens when a nation decides it will no longer be a pawn. I remain where I have always been, on the side of our people, on the side of our freedom, on the side of justice. I will not run, I will not hide, I will not apologize for defending my country. And no threat, no warrant, no campaign of fear will ever change that. We are unshaken, we are unbroken, and we are moving forward. I did not come to power through the blessings of foreign embassies. I did not arrive here through secret meetings in hotel rooms, or backdoor agreements with those who have long manipulated the fate of African nations. I came through the will of the people. It is the people of Burkina Faso who gave me the mandate to lead, to protect and to transform, and it is only to them that I owe my legitimacy. There are those outside our borders who still believe that African leaders must first be accepted by the so-called international community before they can speak with authority. They believe that approval must come from powerful capitals, that recognition must be granted by institutions whose only interest is preserving the status quo. But I say today, without apology or hesitation, that the only recognition I need is from the sons and daughters of this land. When our people rose up, they did so not out of hatred or blind anger. They rose out of pain, frustration, and hope. They rose because they had been forgotten. They rose because they were tired of governments that bowed to foreign masters while ignoring the cries of their own citizens. They rose because they saw the future slipping away into the hands of others. And in that moment, they did not call on Paris, Brussels, or Washington. They called on each other, and they demanded change. It was not foreign observers who stood in the rain and sun to demand justice. It was the youth of Ouagadougou, the farmers in the provinces, the women in the markets, the elders in the villages. It was not diplomats who bled in the streets. It was the people. And for that reason my commitment is to them, not to those who sit far away and seek to dictate our affairs under the banner of international concern. Let them be concerned that the people of Burkina Faso have awakened, concerned that we now ask questions, concerned that we demand answers, and concerned that we are no longer willing to be ruled by those who do not share our struggles or dreams. This mandate is not a title, it is a duty. It is a burden that I carry with pride, because I know where it comes from. I am not here to please the powerful. I am here to serve the people. And I know that service is not always easy. It means making decisions that are unpopular in the circles of foreign diplomats. It means standing firm when external forces try to impose their will through aid, through threats, or through false narratives. But I did not take this role to be comfortable. I took it because our people demanded a different path. They demanded that we take back control of our security, our economy and our future. They demanded that we stop begging for crumbs and start building with our own hands. They demanded that we restore dignity, not just in words but in action. And so every step we take, every reform we push, every foreign deal we question, is grounded in that mandate. It is the people who are the compass, not the donors, not the global media, not the institutions who look at Africa through a lens of control and suspicion. Some may say, but the international community does not recognize you. My response is simple. I do not lead at the pleasure of the international community. I lead at the will of the Burkinabe people, and I will not trade that sacred trust for any endorsement from those who have never lived our reality. If they want to engage with us as equals, with respect and honesty, then our hands are open. The legitimacy of a leader is not found in foreign newspapers or press releases. It is found in the eyes of the people when you walk through the streets. It is found in the mothers who say, "Thank you for defending our sons." It is found in the soldiers who say, "We fight not for pay, but for our homeland." It is found in the youth who say, "We believe again." That is where I find my authority. That is where I draw my strength. To the people of Burkina Faso, I say this again. You are my mandate. You are my reason. You are my shield against the lies, and my fuel against the pressure. I am not perfect. I do not pretend to have all the answers, but I promise you this. As long as I am here, I will answer only to you. I will consult you, fight for you, and protect the future we are building together. We are writing a new chapter, one in which our leaders do not wait for foreign approval to act. One in which sovereignty is real and not symbolic. One in which the people are no longer passive spectators, but the true authors of their own destiny. And to those who say that this path is dangerous, I remind them, it is the only one that leads to true freedom. My commitment to the struggle is not a slogan, not a speech written to please crowds or appease critics. It is a living, breathing responsibility that I carry with every decision I make, and every word I speak. I did not choose an easy path. We are in a struggle that goes far beyond politics. This is a fight for dignity, for the right to live on our own land without fear, without exploitation, and without having to ask for permission from those who have long treated us as less than human. For decades we were told to be patient, to trust foreign partners, to wait for reforms that never came. We waited. And while we waited, our people died, our resources disappeared, our sovereignty was traded away piece by piece. That era is over. The struggle we are in today is for total independence. Not just political independence, which we claimed on paper decades ago, but real independence, economic, military, cultural and psychological. It is the kind of independence that cannot be gifted or negotiated. It must be taken, owned and defended. That is what I have committed myself to. That is what our people are rising for. And that is what the world now fears, because a free Burkina Faso means a free Africa, and a free Africa means the end of their domination. International pressure does not surprise me. When you say no to the ones who are used to commanding you, of course they become angry. When you reclaim your wealth, when you expel foreign soldiers who only bring more violence, when you speak without asking for permission, they call you dangerous. But what is truly dangerous is the system they want to preserve. A system where Africa is forever dependent, forever weak, and forever ruled from outside. I will not cooperate with any order that does not respect our dignity. I will not sign agreements that keep us in chains. I will not allow Burkina Faso to be used as a tool in someone else's game. I will not betray the dreams of our ancestors, who died fighting for our land, and I will not betray the hopes of our youth, who want to inherit a country that belongs to them, not to corporations, not to mercenaries, and not to foreign powers. I know this struggle comes with risks. I know the path is not smooth. But if I wanted comfort, I would have stayed silent. If I wanted praise, I would have followed orders from those who sit far away and act like they know what is best for us. But I chose to listen to the people in the villages. The mothers in mourning, the children with no schools, the soldiers who have given everything to defend our land. Their voices are the ones I follow, and for them, I will endure whatever comes. They can issue their warrants, they can block their aid, they can use their media to try and discredit us. But let them know this: I am not for sale, and neither is Burkina Faso. Our struggle is not built on dependency. It is built on sacrifice. It is built on truth. I have no illusions. I know that those who stand against the global order are often labeled, isolated and targeted. But I also know that those who submit to it end up betraying their people and losing their souls. I would rather stand with the people in struggle than sit in comfort as a puppet. I would rather face the storm with my head held high than bow to those who have never respected us. This struggle is not mine alone. It belongs to every Burkinabe who refuses to be colonized again in the name of peace. It belongs to every young African who dares to believe that our continent deserves better. It belongs to the history we are writing now, not as victims but as fighters, as builders, as free people. I will not be the leader who gives in when the pressure comes. I will be the one who stands firm, who refuses to betray the cause, who carries the burden with pride. My loyalty is not to foreign interests. It is to the land of Thomas Sankara, the spirit of resistance, and the promise that our children will not inherit the same chains we were born into. Burkina Faso has chosen its path. It is not an easy one, but it is the right one. And I give my word to our people, I will walk this path with you, no matter the cost. I will not run. I will not hide. I will not be bought. My commitment to this struggle is total, and it will remain so until we are free, fully and forever.